Travel alert, using the doorway, you travel south, taking a few moments to arrive. The tiny path here leads north toward the death crypt of Khaldun as well as back to the bandits' camp to the south. Janet casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 11 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on herself, healing her for 7 hit points. Sainadirs casts Cure Light Wounds on Redfern, healing him for 11 hit points. GM note, it's dark here. Click the Use Item button to select a source of light. Your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Janet casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 9 hit. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Eswin, healing him for 11 hit points. Sainadirs casts Cure Light Wounds on Kartha, healing her for 7 hit points. Your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Wounds are tended, spells are memorized and your heroes are refreshed and re-energized. Travel alert, using the trail, you travel south, taking 10 minutes to arrive. The road here offers access to the bandit camp, the same road leading south back to Nace about a week's march away. The trail leading north toward the death crypt is also available. Travel alert, using the road, you travel north, taking a minute to arrive. You're free to either explore the small camp here to the north or use the road you arrived upon to head south again back toward Nace. Travel alert, returning to the northern camp entrance, you take a half hour to arrive. Returning to the bandit camp, the men here raise a loud and happy cheer in your honor for defeating Khaldun, destroying his undead army and releasing the few bandit prisoners as well, who have since returned to the camp. You should think about revisiting the bandit half-orc chieftain Xerxes. He will want to know all about your victory over the necromancer. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southeast, taking 10 minutes to arrive. Well done! Xerxes exclaims as you re-enter his tent. You saved several of my men, we're all in your debt. Xerxes smiles, then leads you back to his desk where a small sack sits, handing it to you. The bag has a few dozen coins. Given what you've done, my men collected what they could as a reward. It's not much, but it was the best we could do. Please take this. There is not much in the sack. What do you wish to do with it? Choose an option. Donate the sack to the poorest man, refuse the sack, you don't need it, take the sack with honest gratitude. The party's reputation score permanently increases by 1 point. One of the men you rescued lost absolutely everything when he was taken. Xerxes responds, honored by your gift. Yes, I will make sure he gets this, thank you kindly. You've held up your side of the bargain, and we shall do likewise, the half-orc then states, apparently intending to honor the agreement you had made last time you were here. It will take a few days, but we will strike our camp soon and move on, just as we promised. Perhaps the next time you pass through we will be gone. And where will you go? Kartha asks, genuinely curious. Well, head north, back to the death crypt. That should make the perfect lair for us. You mean you intend to maintain your thieving ways? Kartha asks again, this time more suspicious. The half-orc softly smiles, actually surprising you with his response. No, we have something else in mind, something that should be much more profitable yet honorable as well. Stop by someday and I will tell you more. Xerxes pats you on the back, then shows you to the door, the encounter over. Perhaps sometime soon if you find yourselves passing through the ruined chapel location to the north, you will want to stop by and check in on Xerxes and his men. For now, it's time to leave. Well done with Xerxes, you've definitely improved his life as well as all the other men here within the camp. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. Xerxes now appears too busy to talk as he begins to bust down his tent and prepare for the move to the north. It's time for you to move on to somewhere else as well. Hint, the way west to blue within the Cyan Desert is now open for you to take, as long as each of your heroes have 15 rations and 15 water skins. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southwest, taking 10 minutes to arrive. The merchant awaits for you to buy and sell any mundane item you wish. Janet sells 1 wooden shield and receives the equivalent of 5 gold pieces and 6. Janet sells 1 club and receives the equivalent of 16 copper pieces. Janet lost 100 gold pieces. In return, she receives 100 rations. Janet lost 100 gold pieces. In return, she receives 100 water skins. Janet lost 20 gold pieces. In return, she receives 20 water skins. Travel alert, using the road, you travel west, taking a half hour to arrive. You've now reached the western edge of the bandit camp, the road under your feet continuing due west for as far as the eye can see. It's a good 2 weeks journey to blue from this location. Are we ready to depart for blue, then? Ariana asks, checking her own backpack for appropriate supplies. Everyone have enough food and water? It's a good 2 week journey. Before you leave, Let's verify that each of your heroes do indeed possess at least 15 days worth of rations and water skins, and preferably more. Yes, the entire party confirms that it is properly equipped and ready to head out. Each of you have enough supplies to last at least 15 days during your trek through the upcoming desert. The road west beckons you forward, while the same road will take you east back into the bandit camp. Travel alert: using the road, you travel west, taking a few moments to arrive. The road here continues to offer access to the camp, the same road leading back to Nace about a week's march away. The perpendicular road leading west to Blue within the Cyan Desert is also now available, about 2 weeks' journey as well. Travel alert: using the road, you travel west, taking 2 weeks to arrive. The desert trek punishing, the party is relieved as the magnificent city of Blue finally appears on the horizon, a grand oasis rising out of the bluish-tinged sand that otherwise dominates your vision in all directions. As you near the metropolis, you can see that the city is protected by a vast stone wall rising 50 feet above the desert floor. The dwarves have built a virtual fortress here, and it is as strong as it is breathtaking. An hour later you stand at a tall, mighty iron gate barring your way in, at least a dozen dwarven guards above watching your every move. Before you request access to the city, let's do an empathy check on your hero and see what you discover. Needing a 12 or less from Janet, a 18 was rolled. Failure: as you approach the city's main gate and watch the dwarven guards above, they seem to be moving slowly. You're not sure if that's just because of the hot desert sun or if it's something more, but the guards don't seem so well. Hail, guards of Blue. Eswin calls to the dwarves above, attempting to gain their attention. We've come to help with your water crisis, let us in. Straight to the point, you give Eswin an affirmative nod, the rest of the party looking up to the guards as well. Moments later, a guard captain calls down to you nearly 50 feet above. How much water do you have? No one is allowed in unless they have plenty of water with them. Well, take 5 of your water skins as payment for entry. While gold is normally the currency for entering a capital city of Mariga, looks like you will need to surrender some of your precious water instead. Sainadius offers uses 5 water skins and loses them from his inventory. A small basket is lowered down to the party, upon which you carefully pile the water skins. The basket is then raised back up to where the dwarven guards are standing, and you wait several minutes for something more to happen. The gate finally opens and moments later you're permitted to pass into a large entrance hallway through the wall surrounding Blue. Perhaps a dozen armed dwarven guards quickly make their way into the hallway, not to impede your progress but to ensure that you don't cause any trouble. They don't seem exactly inviting, do they? Redfern mocks, a bit surprised. They're likely facing a calamity they've never seen before. Cartha returns, her sense of compassion perhaps a bit stronger. I am sure they just need to be very careful about who they let into the city, they're not going to harm us. Cartha's explanation plausible. You order the party forward and into the hallway, the grand gate closing behind you. Passing through the stone entrance hallway, you soon step into the grand city of Blue, the jewel of the Cyan Desert. A dozen dwarven guards, dressed for long periods of exposure under the hot desert sun, watch you suspiciously as you enter. GM note: your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. You've reached the city of Blue, completing the quest that brought you here. Let's reward the party with some experience. Each hero earns 571 experience points. As you pass by the dwarves, you notice a few are pointing at you and laughing amongst themselves, drawing your ire. What's so funny? Eswin wonders, not liking being mocked like this. You're going in the wrong direction, the first guard responds. Everyone is leaving blue, you don't want to be here. We're aware of your water shortage, Eswin barks, annoyed. We've come to help. Sure. The second guard grins, as if Eswin has food left on his face. Suit yourself. The two guards clearly think something is funny. Let's do a spirit check on your hero and see if you notice anything. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 9 was rolled. Success, you sense that the guards don't mean any harm or disrespect here. They just know something you don't, and you're probably about to find out. Just beyond the main gate, you enter a large city square, a place active with lots of townspeople. Closest to the party is a young dwarven mother and her infant, but you pay them little heed as you take in the full color and majesty of the dwarven capital city. The city hostel awaits your party on the other side of the square to the northwest. A variety of shops and other buildings line the streets to the north, west and east, while the capital's power tower stands majestically due north in the exact center of blue, the building resembling a mighty dwarf. Gazing about, you're surprised when the young mother steps directly to you, pleading for something. Please, please, kind heroes. Just one water skin, that's all I ask. My daughter hasn't had water in 2 days. Please. It's clear the young mother hasn't had any water herself for days either, so sharing a water skin with her seems the obvious thing to do. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. Redfern offers uses the water skin and loses it from his inventory. The request humble yet sincere, you provide one of your water skins to the woman. The dwarf accepts the item as if it were made of gold, and immediately she allows her daughter to drink her fill, saving the last few swallows for herself. The woman thanks you several times, almost to the point of being obnoxious. Uh-oh. Ariana then mumbles, pointing ahead. From out of nowhere, dozens of dwarves step forward, their eyes squarely on you. One of them shouts water, while another cries out they're giving away water. It appears that if you stay, you're about to be mobbed by a modest group of dwarves all desperately wanting water from the entire party. What do? Choose an option, look for a place to hide, raise your weapons in defense, wait for the mob to arrive. Standing your ground and simply waiting to see what happens, the mob of dwarves quickly arrives and totally surrounds you. Dozens of outstretched arms reach for all of you, the dwarves begging for water. Watching them, you can easily see that they have gone without water for some time, and if they don't quench their terrible thirst soon, many of them will fall over and die. The encounter is absolutely heartbreaking. How could it have come to this? They need every water skin we have. Ariana shouts, her voice frantic. What do? Choose an option, hoard all your water and flee, provide 25 water skins to the crowd, provide 50 water skins to the crowd. The party's reputation score permanently increases by 3 points. Recognizing that all these dwarves will likely die without most of your supply of water, you decide to make a grand sacrifice and order the party to give away 50 water skins. The dwarves greedily grab what they can, but you don't blame them considering the circumstances. The dwarves here handed water skins quickly guzzle all they can, some of them sharing the liquid treasure with others. Soon all of the water skins are depleted, and the crowd begins to dissipate, perhaps a third of the dwarves thanking you for the gifts in some way. That's a mighty well thing you did, one of the gate guards announces, the only dwarf to remain after the mob itself has departed. All the water here in blue is gone, you just saved a lot of lives. We came as fast as we could, Ariana responds. What's happened here? What can you tell us? The water ran out a full season ago, the guard continues, turning for the power tower. The tears of blue have stopped falling, there is no water anywhere, the guard continues. The acolytes of the Sislan Way make all they can, but it's far too little to quench the thirst of an entire city. If the water does not return soon, we will all perish. Where should we start? Sainadius asks. Who controls your power tower? That would be Lord Hefralin, whose house has controlled blue for centuries, the guard returns. He's beloved here, and money is no object to him. But I think even he is perplexed by the loss of our water. Lord Hefralin, that's the dwarf we need to collect our reward from for rescuing his grandson back in the bandit camp. Eswin reminds all of you, having not forgotten the promise made by Prince Hebrami. The power tower is a good place to start, Redfern adds. We should go there at once. Thank you again for what you did for our people, the guard concludes. We don't see such generosity often. The dwarven guard appears to have a little more to tell. Let's do a diplomacy check on your hero to see if you can get any more information out of him. Needing a 11 or less from Janet, a 12 was rolled. Failure. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. The guard pauses a moment, as if he wants to tell you something. The dwarf decides to keep his opinion to himself, however, and turns to walk away. At this point, you're free to explore the City of Blue. You can basically go wherever you wish, but your primary target should be the all-important power tower, which stands due north of your current area. GM note, merchants buy and sell items of up to 100 gold pieces in value. Travel alert, using the road, you travel north, taking 15 minutes to arrive. Stepping into this establishment, you see all manner of chests, trunks, cabinets, shelves, and so forth containing just about anything mundane you could want. Moments later, a middle-aged dwarven woman appears from behind a counter, a small grin on her wrinkled face. Well, my stars, customers. And not just customers, but adventurers. I haven't had any customers in weeks. Except for water skins, which nobody has these days. I should have just about anything you need. Your transaction complete. The dwarf studies you a bit, not mistrusting but more like surprised that you're even here. With the tears of blue totally dry, nobody wants to be here. Have you come to help? Ariana, Kartha, and Redfern all nod. Eswin then continues with an appropriate question. What can you tell us about the loss of all your water here? I may know something, but please, can you first spare a water skin? I haven't had any water in days. Janet uses a scroll of summon food and water on the entire adventuring party, sustaining them with food and water. Janet receives 3 days of food and water, Ariana receives 3 days of food and water. Sainadius offers uses the water skin and loses it from his inventory. The merchant thanks you for the water skin and guzzles half of it, putting the rest away. As outsiders, you wouldn't know that things weren't exactly ideal even before this drought. Our desert fortress has been the source of pride here for centuries, but these past few years under Lord Hefralin, things haven't gone well. You sense the merchant wants to say more, so let's do a wisdom check on your hero and see what happens. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 19 was rolled. Failure, no, your hero does not feel there is anything more to the story and lets the conversation end. The merchant awaits for you to buy and sell any mundane item you wish, apart from water skins, a smile on her face. Janet sells 3 green stones and receives the equivalent. Janet sells 1 bloodstone and receives the equivalent of 60 gold. Janet sells 1 flue or spar and receives the equivalent of Janet sells 1 malachite and receives the equivalent of 6. Janet sells 2 phenalopes and receives the equivalent of 1. Janet sells 1 metal and receives the equivalent of 4 gold pieces. Ariana sells 1 chainmail and receives the equivalent of 48 gold pieces. Redfern sells 1 sling and receives the equivalent of 80 copper pieces. Travel alert, using the road, you travel northwest, taking 5 minutes to arrive, approachable from all 4 cardinal directions, you peer up at the dwarven power tower, the mighty construction itself shaped like a tall, stout dwarf, its dark eyes normally the location from where all the city's water comes pouring out. Long vertical grooves have been etched into the stone from the eyes down to the ground, where some sort of moat, itself now dried and empty, encircles the power tower. Reviewing the tower, let's do a curiosity check on your hero to see if you know anything more about the construction here. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 14 was rolled. Success, from your vantage point, you can tell that the tears of blue must have been flowing for centuries. What could possibly have happened to stop the water recently, turning everything dry and dusty? Crossing a drawbridge over an empty moat and reaching the power tower entrance, you encounter a dozen dwarven guards keeping watch here, not about to just let you pass by. Moments later, the guard captain calls out to you. Halt. You've reached the dwarven seat of power here in blue and the entire Cyan Desert, Lord Hefralin residing. State your business. We're here about your water shortage, Eswin responds, expecting the encounter to be nothing more than a formality. We want to know more and we're here to help. Then you've wasted your time, the dwarven captain responds. We're not to allow anyone to enter, under direct orders from Lord Hefralin himself. Now go away. Well, that's unexpected. You would have thought your help would be welcome, but apparently that help is being turned away. Naturally, your party tries to persuade the guards here to let you through, so let's do a party diplomacy check. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 17 was rolled. Failure, there is nothing you can say or do to pass by, the captain summarizes, his position final. And with that, the guards here stand defiantly against your party, unwilling to let you pass. Redfern then approaches a moment later, looking about and whispering into your ear. I believe there is a powerful wizard here who wants to help. She said to meet her in the library, we should go there. Redfern continues to look about, someone magically communicating with him but unwilling to be seen. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details, your party unable to get past the guards, it appears that someone wants to meet you at the library, you should make your way there as soon as possible. Of course, you now stand in the center of the city, so you're free to go just about anywhere you wish. Travel alert, using the road, you travel east, taking 10 minutes to arrive. Stepping into this larger establishment, you encounter all sorts of weapons, suits of armor, shields and other objects related to combat and the general defense of an adventurer. Moments later, a muscular dwarven fellow appears from beyond a stone counter and hails you, inquiring about your business here. Your transaction is completed and the smith stands there for a moment, waiting to see if there is anything else you need. Smith, do you have any special items we could buy? Eswin asks. A powerful magical item perhaps? The smithy shows the party a small collection of +1 weapons, armor, and shields you can purchase, along with a few +2 items. Be sure to equip your party with powerful magical items if you can. The smithy looks to you again, his mind on something. Let's do a party charisma check and see what happens. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 6 was rolled. Success. Tell you what, I have something really special you may want to see, the smithy says with a grin, disappearing from the counter. The smithy then returns with a tall, glassy shield, something you've never seen before. Just received this gem, pardon the pun, the smithy continues. Reinforced by magic and even tougher than a metallic shield. And it negates any sort of undead energy drain, or so I've been told. It's a one-of-a-kind piece, and I will part with it for, say, 10,000 gold. Well, Janet, even between all the heroes of your party, you simply can't afford the shield at the moment. Hence, you will have to pass on that for now. And where did you find such a unique item? Redfern asks. Was it made right here in Blue? I know you dwarves are specialists in making magic arms and armor. The dwarven smithy shrugs his shoulders in response. A dwarven guard brought it in. He said he found it down in the aqueduct, which is bone dry these days. Redfern takes a moment to inspect the shield. Let's check his curiosity and see if he learns anything more. Needing a 11 or less from Redfern, a 13 was rolled. Failure, begins the magic user, carefully studying the shield. I can't tell what sort of magic was used, very interesting. The dwarf then puts the shield away again, returning moments later. The smithy awaits for you to buy and sell additional weapons, suits of armor and shields. Be sure to invest in magical items if you can. Janet lost 900 gold pieces. In return, she receives 3 plate mails. Janet sells 1 chainmail and receives the equivalent of 48 gold pieces. Eswin sells 1 chainmail and receives the equivalent of 48 gold pieces. Kartha sells 1 chainmail and receives the equivalent of 48 gold pieces. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southeast, taking 10 minutes to arrive, one of the more elegant and respected buildings within the city. The theater here provides not only daily entertainment but potential information, factual lore sometimes intended to inform as well as entertain. Of course, someone will need to pay the 5 gold coin admittance fee for the party. GM note, Janet lost 25 electrum pieces. You soon find yourselves next to a large black stage within a loud and impatient crowd. The play begins, and for the next 2 hours you watch an intriguing performance consisting of dialogue, dance, and music. During the play, you recognize the following about the location you're currently in. Although the Sislan Way has had a church within Blue for over a century, the dwarves here have never really wanted the Sislans and would like to see them leave permanently. These feelings have only strengthened recently with the arrival of Supreme Healer Priest Dilt, who is pushing the Sislan faith hard on all the dwarves within Blue. The show is done and another won't begin for some time, so you should leave now. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southwest, taking 5 minutes to arrive. A young, blind sorceress bids you welcome to her tiny yet immaculate home, draped in black curtains and eerie to be within. She takes your hand and begins to concentrate. So long as you can pay her the 100 gold piece fee, she is prepared to tell you what you can do to move your current quest forward. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southeast, taking 10 minutes to arrive. This small white stone building is closed and locked, obviously intended to incarcerate those who have violated some local law. It may or may not be occupied, but given that it's magically sealed you won't be finding out what's inside anytime soon. While you can't enter the jail itself, you do find a bulletin board affixed to one wall that has a number of written notices pinned to it. Reviewing the variety of notices, your eye is immediately drawn to the largest, pinned directly in the middle of the board. Reviewing the notice, it states all citizens, stay home, keep the sun out and stay calm until the Tears of Blue are restored. By order of Lord Hefralin. That does not seem like a lot of help, Ariana comments. What else should the people of Blue do to keep from dying of thirst? I am guessing that if the dwarves haven't figured it out by now, they probably won't, Eswin responds, a bit grim. It's likely up to us. Your heroes agree with Eswin, ready to move on. The jail remains closed and impenetrable. You'll need to head north or west to visit anywhere else within the city. Travel alert, using the path, you travel north, taking 20 minutes to arrive. This shop seems to contain just about every type of stone, crystal, and rock imaginable, so if you're looking to buy or sell a few gems or pieces of jewelry, you've come to the right place. The initial transaction commences in silence, the jeweler in no mood to speak to you directly. Pardon me, tall ones, a meek voice comes from behind, surprising you. Turning around, you find an older female dwarf standing there in the corner near the door, her clothes just as old and her skin rather blemished. Worse, it's clear that she is blind, and you assume she has come to ask for a few coppers. Before you can even react, however, the jeweler here orders the woman out of his shop, even throwing a few worthless stones at her to hasten her retreat. How do you react? Choose an option, do nothing and stand by, protect the woman, then talk to her, scold the jeweler, then talk to the woman. Janet permanently increases her empathy score by 1 point, the reaction by the jeweler quite unreasonable. You demand that the jeweler stop her assault, scolding her in the process. You then turn to the older dwarf and ensure that she's okay. The blind dwarf nods that she is unharmed, then holds out an old, cracked cup, an apparent receptacle for a tiny donation. Please, tall ones. Just a single gold piece, that's all I ask. GM note, Janet lost 5 electrum pieces. The woman grins as she hears your donation strike the bottom of her cup, the blind dwarf quite acute at hearing. I can hear everything, the dwarf continues, her words surprising. The stone beneath us, it cries out, wounded, changed, afraid. While you weren't expecting such strange words, she is a dwarf, and she is blind, so, perhaps, she knows what she's talking about. Ariana asks her to continue. You are here to restore the Tears of Blue, are you not? Something has happened, below the city, something consisting of incredible power. The blind woman then stops. You sense there is more that she's willing to tell, but she seems to want something more from you, something that everyone within the city desperately needs right now. Kartha offers uses the water skin and loses it from her inventory. The dwarf takes a swig from the provided water skin, then continues her cryptic message. Down below, where the water once flowed, the rock itself now moves with a mind of its own. Put the rock back to sleep, blow the horn and undo what's been done to make our glorious dwarf weep again. Pressing for more information, the dwarf simply smiles, her strange message over. Several of your party members look to one another in confusion. Did the woman provide a helpful clue, or was it all just mindless babble? Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 18 was rolled. Failure, unfortunately, you really have no idea what the blind dwarf was talking about, and you more or less dismiss it as senseless babble. Your party unsure of how to respond, the blind dwarf simply nods and takes her leave, easily finding the door and departing in silence. Good riddance. The rude jeweler calls out, happy to see the old woman depart. And with that, the odd encounter is over. Standing here within the jeweler's shop, you're free to buy and trade additional gems and jewelry as long as you wish. Janet sells 1 alexandrite and receives the equivalent of 800. Janet sells 1 topaz and receives the equivalent of 100. Sainair sells 1 onyx skull earrings and receives the equivalent of 960 gold pieces. Travel alert, using the path, you travel northwest, taking 10 minutes to arrive, reams of paper lie stacked everywhere, while a dwarven cleric awaits your presence, ready to sell you whatever magical scrolls you may require. The transaction commences and the scribe thanks you for your patronage. You must be the adventuring party recently arrived, the cleric continues, eyeing you with both surprise and honor. Traveling across the Cyan Desert to help the city when most are fleeing is a brave and noble thing to do. Why is it so important that you help us? Why indeed? Janet, how would you like to respond to the cleric? Choose an option. Diplomacy, it's what adventurers do. Honor, it was the right thing to do. Tolerance, we had nothing better to do. The scribe smiles, nodding his head with approval. He then selects a particular scroll case from his inventory and hands it to you, an apparent gift. I've had this scroll for years, but never had a need for it, and nobody wanted it anyway. Something tells me it may come in useful, so I want you to have it. Rather surprised, you take the scroll tube, the container labeled Dispel Magic. Given how much dwarves hate magic, you're not surprised that the scribe hasn't been able to sell it. Likely something that may be useful, however, you thank the scribe for the gift and stow it away. The dwarven scribe here awaits, ready to buy and sell magical scrolls for as long as you wish. Travel alert, using the path, you travel southwest, taking 5 minutes to arrive. The shop here appears cluttered with all manner of containers, made mostly of glass and each containing some strange powder or liquid. A young dwarven woman stands as you enter the building, a little surprised to encounter some potential customers. Are you in need of a potion or two? I don't have any water if that's what you're looking for, but I do have a variety of magical potions if you're interested. The transaction commences and the dwarf here politely thanks you for your business. You look familiar. Ariana then comments, observing the alchemist carefully. Where have we seen you? The dwarf stares blankly ahead, not sure what to say. Oh. Prince Ibrahimi, who we met in a holding pit about a 2-week trek east from here, the young elf then remembers, reminding the rest of the party as well. Are you two related at all? You know Ibrahimi? The woman responds, rather shocked. He's my vagrant brother. If you found him in some holding pit, that does not surprise me at all. He told us he's the grandson of Lord Hefralin, which would make you a princess. Kartha both asks and suggests, surprising the alchemist. Lord Hefralin? Me, a princess? Wrong on all accounts, I am afraid. The dwarf breathes a deep sigh, then takes a step forward and softens her voice, almost too embarrassed to continue. Ibrahimi has always been a thief and a lowlife, I am sad to say, the alchemist continues. We aren't related to Lord Hefralin in any way. If that's what he told you, it was all a big, fat lie. So the promise that this Hefralin would pay us for your brother's release, also a lie. Eswin confirms, angry but not surprised. The dwarf nods affirmatively, realizing that you've been duped. Still, let's do a reason check on your hero to see if you can tell whether she's telling the truth. Needing a 12 or less from Janet, a 1 was rolled. Success, yes, unfortunately, the whole story seems quite believable and reasonable. Ibrahimi lied to all of you and took tremendous advantage of your generosity. Hopefully you will meet him again someday so you can even the score. The dwarven alchemist here remains ready to buy and sell potions to you. Travel alert, using the path, you travel west, taking 15 minutes to arrive. After passing by a few well-equipped dwarven guards, you now stand just outside a small but secure bank. If you wish to enter and make a deposit, retrieve saved funds or perhaps acquire a loan, you will need to pay a silver piece entrance fee. GM note, Janet lost 10 copper pieces. You pay the entrance fee and enter the bank. Its door magically secure and its interior cozy yet official. A nearby sign reads deposits, withdraws and loans, while several booths stand before you where dwarven clerks await to conduct business. Note that only you can obtain a loan, up to 10 platinum per level, and that you will have to pay back double what you borrow. Checking your balance here at the bank, you see that you have 486 platinum pieces saved away, the equivalent of 2,430 gold pieces. Hence, you can withdraw any or all of that if you wish. Janet lost 567 platinum pieces, 3,823 gold pieces, 1,213 electrum pieces, 5,459 silver pieces and 79 copper pieces. Janet now has 2048 platinum pieces saved away in the bank. Simply return to any bank within the world at any time to withdraw these funds, subject to a 1 gold piece. Janet withdraws 204 platinum pieces from the bank. That leaves her with 1,844 platinum pieces banked. Travel alert, using the path, you travel northwest, taking 5 minutes to arrive. Stepping into this large and elegant establishment, you see a variety of dwarven townsfolk surrounding many fine tables, 3 windowed slot machine contraptions resting atop each table. An occasional shout is heard as someone either wins or loses a modest sum of gold. This place is definitely a gambling establishment. The casino owner asks for a single gold piece for entering and playing. GM note, Janet lost 1 gold piece. The casino is well populated by a variety of magical slot machines, each with 3 windows that randomly display a fruit, apple, orange, or banana or an X symbol. Match any 2 fruits and double your wager. Match any 3 fruits and win 5 times your bet. Receive 3 X symbols and win the jackpot, 50 times your bet. Good luck. Open slot machines stand all about you, just begging to take your hard-earned gold. Janet tries her luck at one of the machines, wagering 20 gold coins. The 3 windows display 2 fruits. Janet wins twice her bet, total of 40 gold coins. Not bad. So far, you've won a grand total of 40 gold pieces. You're on a roll, so don't stop now. Janet tries her luck at one of the machines, wagering 20 gold coins. The 3 windows display 3 fruits. Janet wins 5 times her bet, a total of 100 gold coins. Well done. So far, you've won a grand total of 140 gold pieces. You're on a roll, so don't stop now. Janet tries her luck at one of the machines, wagering 20 gold coins. The 3 windows display 2 fruits. Janet wins twice her bet, total of 40 gold coins. Not bad. So far, you've won a grand total of 180 gold pieces. You're on a roll, so don't stop now. You spend a few minutes searching the area. You discover a concealed path west to Black Market. You don't find anything hidden, however. Your party searches for traps but don't find any. Travel alert, using the path, you travel west, taking 5 minutes to arrive. A variety of dank and decrepit buildings and warehouses line the streets here, several seedy and suspicious dwarven characters eyeing your every move. Minutes later, a small gang of ruffians spoiling for a fight begin to push you around, demanding to know your business here. Your party is under attack. Menacing your entire party are 6 dwarven thugs. It's Senires's turn. What do you want him to do? Denizens casts Spiritual Hammer on Dwarven Thug number 3, bashing him for 5 points of damage for 5 minutes. Dwarven Thug number 3 attacks Oriana with his short sword needing a 22 to hit. Dwarven Thug number 5 attacks Oriana with his short sword needing it. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet casts Spiritual Hammer on Dwarven Thug number 3, bashing him for 1 point. It's Oriana's turn. What do you want her to do? Oriana readies her short sword +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 3, needing a 15 to hit. Needing a 40 or less on percentile dice, an 81 is rolled. Failure. Eswin readies his longsword +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 4. Kartha casts Spiritual Hammer on Dwarven Thug number 3, bashing him for 1 point of damage for 5 minutes. Dwarven Thug number GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. Redfern casts web on roughly half of all encountered combatants, attempting to immobilize them in sticky goo. Dwarven Thug number 1 is held for. Oriana readies her short sword +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 6, needing a 15 to hit. Die roll is a 7, Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 6, needing a 15 to hit. Die. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 6. Denizens readies his mace +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 6. Eswin readies his longsword +1 and swings at Dwarven Thug number 6. Kartha directs her Spiritual Hammer at Dwarven Thug number 6, bashing him for 4 points of damage and leaving him with 9 hit points. Janet casts Cause Light Wounds on Dwarven Thug number 6, wounding him for 10 points of damage, needing a 15 or greater. Dwarven Thug number 6 rolls a 7 and fails versus spells. Dwarven Thug number 6 has been defeated. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 107 experience points. You drive the ruffians away and look around. Moments later, a sinister-looking merchant calls for your attention. He has items for sale that you may not be able to purchase anywhere else. Well played, the dark merchant exclaims, impressed. My friends here help cull the weak from the strong, so I know who I can do business with. You've earned the right to buy and sell to me. I am expensive, but I likely have merchandise you won't find anywhere else.